Are you thinking it might be time to find assisted living for your mom or dad or grandpa? Not sure where to start? Or maybe you've been putting it off because your best friend just went through it and you know how hard it is. I'm your host, Valerie Borgman, and in this episode, I'm walking you through what that first phone call to a senior living community looks like, how you can prepare, and maybe even save some time. Welcome to Desperately Seeking Senior Living, a podcast for sons, daughters, grandkids, and spouses who suddenly find themselves tangled in the search for senior living and care. If you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and check out our doable download in today's show notes. One of my clients referred to his many phone calls to senior living communities as the timeshare call. Have you ever sat through one of those? You're drawn in by the gift, the offer, or in this case, the solution to your problem. But in order to get your questions answered, to get to your gift, you have to sit through a long presentation. Like those people at the mall trying to get your attention. After you fall for the first one, you learn to just keep walking. Or those tables set up at the grocery store. I admit I've been drawn to the table, curious what the gift was at the end of the presentation. Usually, though, I decide my time just isn't worth it. Now, of course, everyone's just doing their job here. But when your job is to find senior living and care, you may not have time for 20 phone calls. I've had families tell me they made 20 or even 60 phone calls to senior living communities, and still they couldn't find the right fit for their loved one. Or made appointments for tours, took the time to drive there, meet everyone, tour the community, enjoy lunch in the dining room, only to find out that it was twice their budget. Today, we're going to look at this common occurrence, and hopefully, after our time together, you'll have a great strategy for approaching your search to senior living. But first, before we dive in, what are your goals? Is it to only move one time and never do this search again? Or are you okay with moving for today, knowing that you might have to move again in the future if the care needs have exceeded what this particular community can do? Is it to find the best financial deal? Or are funds so tight that there's no choice? You only have so much money you're working with. It's important to know your goals because when you call a community, they usually have a certain way they want the call to go. And it's usually not jumping right to how much it costs to live there. Okay, full disclosure. I was one of those people who took your call. I worked in senior living as that tour guide for years and for different companies. And in one community, they had a third-party company that trained us on how to give that presentation, how to take your call. They also recorded those calls for training purposes. And one day, right after I took a call, I was asked into my boss's office, sat down, and with a stern look, my boss played back my call for us to listen to. I was reprimanded that day for quickly answering a family's question about cost. That family was on a limited budget, and they just wanted the answer without spending more time on another phone call. So, the person on the other end of the phone has probably been trained to handle your call a certain way, and that's okay. And a lot of times, that training can help you get other answers to your questions really fast. But sometimes there are specific questions you have that are going to make a big difference, and they're going to help you to go from 20 phone calls to maybe 10 phone calls. Or if it still takes you 20 phone calls, maybe at least it won't take you so much time. Money is one of the two main reasons it might take more time and more phone calls to find the right place: money and care. So let's start with care. Most assisted living communities can handle the small stuff, what we call activities of daily living. All those things we do each day to care for ourselves, like brushing our teeth, getting dressed, making a meal, showering. It gets complicated when there are complicated needs because not every community can handle every need. Not every community provides care for those with insulin injections, blood sugar checks, catheters, feeding tubes, incontinence of bowel, Alzheimer's, or certain behaviors associated with Alzheimer's, such as active exit seeking or yelling out. So, starting the phone call with the complicated things like insulin can really help speed things up. Can your community do blood sugar checks? No? Okay. Thank you for your time. Moving on. We're moving on to my favorite topic, math. Okay, I'm totally joking. Math is really not one of my favorites. And honestly, if you're like me, this might be a great time to find out which family member or friend likes numbers and ask for their help. Because senior living is expensive. And I wish we didn't have to talk about finances, but we do. While there are government programs that vary from state to state, like Medicaid, that pay for senior living and care, not everyone accepts them. So, to save some time, it's important to know exactly what your financial picture looks like. And if you want to learn more about Medicaid, you can check out our doable tip episode on the difference between Medicaid and Medicare. And we'll have a link in show notes too. Okay, so here comes the math part. You have been warned. Feel free to pause and get out a piece of paper because we're going to make two columns. The first column is the usable monthly income minus expenses. So that's Social Security, pensions, VA benefits. Then in another column, any savings, an estimate of home equity if there's a house to sell, any investments you can draw from. So let's say the monthly income is $3,000. And the monthly cost for senior living and care is $6,000. Then you'll pull $3,000 from savings and add it to the monthly income to make up the difference. Now you know how long that savings will last and how many months or years you can afford a particular community. If you haven't started your search yet, you might be thinking, what the heck? Senior living can cost $6,000 a month? Yep, that and more, or less, which is why knowing the finances can really save you some time. Each community is a separate business. They offer different services. They charge different prices and calculate those charges differently. If you know your budget, you can start the call with that and really save some time, especially if your budget is tight. So, to sum up this doable tip, know your goals, know your finances, your must-haves, the care needs, have them right there when you make your calls. As for my client, the timeshare one, after many, many phone calls, he got really good at saving time when he called a community. He would very politely say, I don't need the timeshare talk. Let's see if I qualify first. Then we can talk timeshare. Today's episode is brought to you by ClearPath Senior Living Solutions. ClearPath helps families find assisted living, memory care, and other resources. Find our contact information in today's show notes. Check out this episode's doable download in show notes for details including industry terms and definitions we discussed, as well as a bonus tip from our guest. Have questions or your own tips to share? Leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, make it doable.